This is the triple Qs on the 5-minute time frame. I'm going to give you price targets for Wednesday. We ended the day at $388.47, down more than 0.5%. The day's low, $386.70. The day's high, $389.23. This is where we ended. To the north side from where we are takes us to resistance and a possible take profit area at $389.63. Above that, at 2 standard deviations and another level of resistance, $392.06, $393.29, and at 4 standard deviations, $394.54. To the south side, at -2 standard deviations and another level of support, $387.17. $385.95, and if we make it to -4 standard deviations, I will definitely anticipate a bounce as people buy the dip. Now, I talked about this on Monday. Price was at $390.74. We were at resistance, and I anticipated a sell-off at resistance because that is where people take their profits and they run, and that's exactly what happened. We fell down to support. If we are up here, going down takes us to support. We went sideways, fell down again, bounced up, tried to make our way back up to this line, which then turns into resistance. Could not quite do that, fell back down, and basically we are grinding sideways. Now, when this stock fell, it gapped down. And because it gapped down, I will anticipate a gap up as it fills to the north side. That takes us to roughly $389.04 and closes out at roughly $390.42. Mark that out. And remember, there's a landmine to the south of us. We are not in that channel just yet, but be aware of this gap to the south side that starts at 383.14 and closes to the south side at 377.36. It could take a while for us to close, so just something to be aware of. And on the daily time frame, very quickly, let me remove that. We are at the middle of the trend, and from down here, this is considered resistance and a possible take profit area. Should we go north, one target will be $418.23. It could take a very long time to get there. Do not hold your breath. And to the south side, $357.94. And note this smaller gap down here that will take us eventually to $370.06. Now let me recap Tesla. This is the 5-minute time frame again. Here are your price targets for Wednesday. First, we ended the day at 241.20, up more than 2%. The day's low, 233.34. The day's high, 243.62. The 1-year price target again. Now, we already hit it at 238.43. If you go to tipranks.com, it'll give you a revised projection, the high for the 1-year price target, because I think we met it on the average. So now we're looking for the high, but I'll give you some targets as well in just a moment. To the north side from where we are takes us to 245.20. Another possible take profit area, 247.63. 250.12, if we go south from there, this will turn into support, and then a possible bounce at support. If we fall again, this turns into support. And from here, going down, this line then turns into support as well at 240.40. Below that, 235.41, 233.02, and at -4 standard deviations and another possible bounce area, 230.54. Now, I talked about this gap, and we closed out right here today. So this gap is no longer in play. We are done, but beware of the gap to the south side here that is still in play. I will extend this out. We are nearing it, I would say. Maybe if we continue this path down, it will close out eventually at 224.08. This will take a little bit. It could get to this area, but to actually completely close out, I think will take a while. And the RSI is at 48 and turning down. Now, from up here to down here is considered, like I said, support. So I will anticipate price to grind along this line or go sideways and even possibly go to the next level of support down here. So congratulations if you made some money off of Tesla. And on the daily, as you can see, my chart looks like a hot mess because I've tracked it so many times, but I'll just give you kind of a generic idea. We are right here also at the middle of the trend. To the north side takes us eventually to 324.11 and 156.86. Note this gap that I have tracked to the south side, we are not in that channel, but that would take us down to 145.14. Now to Palantir. Oops. All right, we ended the day at $19.80. The day's low, 1972. The day's high, 21.85. Now this is where we are. To the north side takes us back to the middle of the trend, and that is roughly 20.89. Above that, that would be resistance, and above that at another level of resistance, 22.06, 22.65, and 23.27. We are basically at -2 standard deviations, and at support, I will anticipate a bounce as people buy the dip. Another level of support is 19.12 and 18.52. I sold some Palantir at 20.85 recently, and I have many more shares left. I just wanted to take a little bit of profit because I do have some that I bought around the $10, $11 mark and lower, and some higher as well, but I'm keeping those shares for long-term investing. Now note the sell-off here at resistance, and again, I will anticipate a bounce at support. If we don't make it there, then I will anticipate a bounce here and a bounce here. Now, looking left, you can see the bounce here, but we didn't quite make it to this line. Close enough. Price started to run. Watch out for, again, the gaps to the south side here that have not closed. We are not in that time frame, in that channel or in that zone just yet. The RSI is at 35, and we are in the basically oversold area where I anticipate people buy down here, sell up here, rinse and repeat. And the last one I'm going to do is a copper metals company. And the reason I want to take a look at this is because we were just at Lowe's and we witnessed a grand theft taking place in the parking lot. 4 people basically went inside of Lowe's and came out with 3 shopping carts, and they had all kinds of equipment, and they also stole copper. So it made me think I'm going to look at copper, and here are some copper stocks. Rio Tinto is what I'm going to go over. It is the second largest metals and mining corporation, and I've tracked it before in the past, so I thought I would look at it again. But anyway, at Lowe's, it was just disgusting to see. These people are disgusting. And I just could not believe what I was seeing. So I had to call the police. I called 311. I called Lowe's to let them know I had the license plate. And then I called, who else? I called U-Haul to let them know. And then I also called my local Home Depot to let them know that they could be next and be encased. You know, you never know. So I did my part. So this is Rio Tinto, and we ended the day at $70.24, up nearly 1.5%. The day's low, $69.92. The day's high, $70.43. Now, for the week, we are up 3%. For the month, 15%. Year to date, down more than 1%. Considered a strong buy. Under the analyst rating, also a buy. The 1-year price target, $84.67, which represents a 20% return from where we are. And this is where we landed. To the north side takes us back to the middle of the trend and resistance and a possible take profit area, 70.51. 70.96, ignore the $71. That is a previous price target that I tracked a long time ago. 71.17, 71.40. To the south side at -2 standard deviations, 70.07, 69.85, 69.61. There are a lot of landmines to the south side, many landmines here, so watch out. Or perhaps if you like to go short, this is your thing, or wait for price to fall to get a better entry, or to dollar cost average, whatever you are doing. I'm going to turn on my magnet to get a precise level. Now, we gapped up, so I anticipate a gap to the south side. I'll show you how I mark everything out. Now I'm going to turn off the magnet because then it plays with it. Sometimes it makes it wonky. All right. The gap begins at roughly 69.96, closes out at 69.26. And let me compress this. There's a small gap here as well. Turn back on the magnet. It gapped up. I anticipate the price to go down. It could take a very long time to get there. Don't hold your breath, but there is a possibility of that. And we've got another one right here. We may never get there, or it could be pretty quick. You never know. And the RSI is at 48. I will flip this over to the daily. You should check it out on all time frames so that you can see where we are and where we're headed in a bigger picture. In the bigger picture, I should say. And then you get different gaps on different time frames as well. On the daily, look at this. We are overbought. I will anticipate, some sell-off as we are seeing here. So we went up, we sold off, we went up, we sold off, we went up, we sold off. It feels like there are many opportunities to swing trade this one. We are, see how it messes with you when you move to a different time frame. The price levels that I mark out get wonky. All right, right here at 2 standard deviations would take us to the north side at roughly 77.46. This is the new 1-year price target. This is the old one. And back at the middle of the trend takes us to 65.37 and 53.55. On the weekly, the RSI is not overbought. And on the monthly, we're at 59 there. And on the monthly at 53. So there is room to go to the upside, but it will take a while to get there if we get there. But according to the analysts, there is a lot of upside potential on this one. That does it for me. That is a look at the triple Qs, Tesla, TSLA, Palantir, and RIO. Thank you so much for watching.